Hello and welcome to the Irn-Cru podcast, an American football podcast made in Scotland by NFL lovers. And, it's just the two of us tonight. Scuddy, it's wild card weekend. To be honest, there's just so much to break down. And we've got loads to cover still. I want to get into as quickly as possible. But first of all, Scudbook, how have you been, mate?
I've been good, buddy. Enjoying life at the moment. Can't complain.
You're saying you're at the gym?
I tried
that about?
It's not for me. But no, I try to be a wee bit healthier. But when you work, gives you a free gym, you may as well use it.
New year, new you. Is that what it is?
Try to be.
Yeah, the cliches, but nah, you're still always the same old Scudbook. Never change, man. That's how we love you.
That.
No, but glad to hear you're all good and well though, because I know like you and I were texting. We'll get to this bit a bit later on, but we had quite a late night the other night, didn't we? It was about 4:30, was it? 4 we got to bed.
Aye.
I was up again at 6:45, so I get a nap before work. So it wasn't the best, but we'll touch on the reasons why later on, which is all good. But man, right, so before we go on, as I say, we've got loads of stuff to sort of talk about. So big sort of Super Bowl news for us here in the Gridiron Crew. We are going to be walkabout in Glasgow. So everybody knows it. Massive big place. Brilliant. Scuddy. I know it's your favourite place to go watch the NFL. The screens, the pints, what's not to love. We're going to be there. It's that Sunday, the 8th of February, the big dances. Come along, join us, watch the Patriots win their 7th ring. We'll come in that bit later. 9 p.m. till 10 p.m. we will be hosting a quiz as well. So already start thinking now about all your good NFL puns for your team names. There's prizes and stuff like that. Keith's got all the news, keeps me in the dark. Mushroom treatment. But no, he's loads of great prizes, and but just as we're getting closer to it, tables are getting snapped up. I think they're opening up the sort of bleachers in there as well. So there is still space and there is still tables available. So come and join us, the Gridiron Crew. We'll be there. Some of us will be. I'm not entirely sure who's all going to make it along. I might end up having a wee trip stateside. We'll see how the rest of the postseason goes. But that's massive news for us. We're absolutely delighted to be hosting that. Again, try to not just grow the podcast and that, but just go and meet folk and meet like-minded NFL sort of fans and enthusiasts, and it's always a good laugh, and it's always a bit of banter, slagging each other, and
it's brilliant.
So I'm sure you'll be there, Scuddy, won't you?
Yeah,
with bells on. Can't wait to see what you'd wear. You've got to get dressed up for the occasion, though, my man. You know how it goes. Right, so so again, there's got to be loads of stuff coming out on social media on it, so look out for it. Come and join us, as it's got to be a great night, and it's it's like Christmas Eve for us Super Bowl fans, for us NFL fans. So it's got to be amazing. Right, so before we go into the games, Scuddy, just I was just firing down the last of my scran there before I come on, and the news broke that Mike Tomlin, after 19 years, has left the Pittsburgh Steelers. That falls up for their spanking last night at the hands of the Texans, which we'll dive into a wee bit more later on. But what's your first reaction to that news?
Unsurprised, to be perfectly honest. I wasn't sure if it was. I think we spoke earlier on the chat about, do you think he'll stay, etc. But I'm not surprised. I think he's not going to get any further with that team. I'm just surprised he's not. I don't know. He's just not got. They've not got a good quarterback. Rodgers is going to be away after this season, and they'll be back to the merry-go-round of the mediocre quarterbacks again, which I don't think he wants to go and do.
It'll be interesting to see what happens, because the news that I was kind of seeing there with Schefter and such like was that it's his choice. So therefore, Pittsburgh are still going to own his rights, essentially. So if he chooses to get another head coaching role, he has to be traded. There has to be some form of compensation paid. So that'll be interesting to see how that one all comes about. A bit like you, I think it's probably no surprise to many folk. I think the biggest surprise, what everybody's sort of saying, is at the start of the year, would you have thought that Zach Taylor would be the last man standing at the AFC North head coaches? When you see Stefanski away, Harbaugh away. But that's I've got to say, it's a tasty job, because the great thing about Pittsburgh is that their loyalty to their head coaches.
Yeah.
The one seems to last about 40 damn years or whatever, 20 years, you know. They don't go through head coaches. They're always given time to build. And that's what this team's going to need. They do have some good pieces there, but ultimately you're only as good as your quarterback, really, in this league. And until they get a proper replacement in for Ben Roethlisberger, essentially, it's got to take a wee bit of time. But if you kind of get through, that's 9 head coach openings now. And it's just sort of wild who we're talking about. Steelers, Ravens, Browns, Giants, Titans, Raiders, Dolphins, Falcons, and Cardinals. I'm wondering if there's teams like the Dolphins are sort of regretting their choices now, considering that they had a good head coach there. And now, is there maybe better openings there where the kind of choice candidates are now kind of, you know, are the choice, the best candidates are now get a better selection of jobs? When some maybe look at the Ravens, for example. I was going to say the Browns, but behave yourself, Danny. So yeah, but it's got to be wild to see what happens here, though. What were you thinking?
Well, it'll be interesting to see, because I would say the Dolphins, somebody's going to have to come in and replace a quarterback more than likely. Tua is not the answer, so you're going to have to come in and oversee that. Who's really... That's a thankless task. I don't see you ever come in lasting, to be honest with you. I just think when you come in, it's a hard job to fill and go in and do that job.
But no, to be honest, it's the great thing about the NFL. It's never lacks drama. There's always something going on. It's absolutely brilliant. And the thing is, not even touched on there, that's like 9 head coach openings. OCs are getting fired left, right, and centre. Obviously, Lions are out. I think I saw Greg Roman out in the Chargers this morning as well. It's just wild times. But we've got loads to go on with. Say we've got 6 absolute massive games to talk through. Before kind of go on, what we got here? A couple of comments. Penelope Howdy. Hello. Said, I hope Seahawks in New England goes in again, and this time Seahawks beat y'all. We need our win back. No hate saying that. Well, you know, maybe you should have ran the ball. I'm just saying, you know, you had the chance. You were that away. That was it. But no, balled it. No, we'll get to that later. I don't want to jump ahead. But no, thanks for the comments. Keep them coming in. We are, as I say, absolutely buzzing with what's going on. And feel free to slag us. We'll take it. We're big boys here. On, what's it? Scooby and Mac. Hello. I don't know if that's a waiver where they're calling us a wanker. I can't quite make it out, mate. But, you know, either way. Right, let's get on to it, right? Because, as I say, we're into some absolute brilliant stuff here. Right, first up, Saturday night, LA Rams 34 at the Carolina Panthers 31. So Stafford led the Rams 71 yard. They completed 6 of 7 passes. Came all off with a 19-yard touchdown pass to Colby Parkinson with 38 seconds left. Come from behind win eventually for the Rams over Carolina. Initial reaction to it, Scud. What was your general take of this game?
Surprised it was as close as what it was. I never thought Carolina were going to get it as close as that. They've been going along sneakily all season. Obviously, the big win, they actually get beat to get the division, but really well, but to get there. But I think you see promising signs from Young. Hopefully, you can build more around him and get more from him. They just need I think there's just a lot of holes in the team still, but it looks like you might have hit, and at least not I think he will be your quarterback for the next few years, so you should be able to build around him for now at least. But not very surprised, because I'll be honest, I completely forgot this game was on until I woke up on Sunday morning. But I watched it. None, surprisingly. I watched the game in 40 of it, and I didn't know the score. I always watch game in 40 without knowing the score, so I was in the dark, but I was surprised it went so close. The Rams, I don't know if they were not very good. Carolina played well, but it wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
No, well, I think they were 10.5 point underdogs. Panthers going into this one. I watched it. I watched it through the lens of, you know, fuck Matt Stafford, Drake May's MVP. Totally unbiased, but there we go. I'm only kidding. But start with the Panthers, I guess, like you were just sort of touching on there. they obviously, the Panthers obviously beat them like 6 weeks ago or something like that. So they've played each other fairly recently. They know each other pretty well. I guess it's just I found Panthers a really hard team to kind of judge this year. You know, they would beat against the Rams and then lose the following week to somebody they should have beaten, probably someday in the NFC South. And that's why they end up an 8-9 record and kind of limp in. But a bit like you, it's just a real gutsy performance for them. You kind of look at it and go, well, is this one that is it David Temper, their owner, might actually no sack somebody for a change and actually let them build a team that maybe Bryce Young has something about him. Maybe he can be developed. Dave Canales is doing a good job there. They've got McMillan, they've got Dowdle, Chubb Hubbard. They've got a lot of good pieces actually within that team. And they gave them a hell of a bit of bloody nose coming back into this, considering I think everybody thought this game was over pretty quickly. I think they were down, I don't know, was it 14 pretty quickly or something like that? It was 21 or something like that. It was done, and it was just one of these games that I think if you're a Panthers fan, you're walking away pretty happy with your team. Yeah, I think you never took an absolute doing like a lot of people feared, and you're kind of looking and going, okay, if we get back, given especially that division, how generally weak it can be. I think they've got to be pretty happy with the future. Nobody likes to lose. Nobody wants to see their team out and the season over. But they've got to be happy, surely, Scud.
The manner of the defeat is the way you would be happy with. You're not happy at getting beat, but you will feel a lot worse if you went there and get pumped 36-0 in the playoff. You've made a good fist of it. You've shown you've got a bit about you. So to me, it's the best defeat you can get.
Yeah. And like I've got a comment here for Steve O'Clan on Instagram, so again, fire them in there. Panthers were on under the radar and had the Rams in the ropes. I thought they were unlucky not to win at home. Agreed. They were unlucky. I guess if we flick it then to the other side where we're now looking at the Rams side, they've got experience, I guess, don't they, Scud? They have that sort of the championship, mentality. They've been here, done it, seen it, and I'm just wondering if that was what eventually just got them over the line. Maybe that inexperience of the Panthers up against that experience head of McVay has been there and done it, Stafford has been there and done it, and was that just enough that was the sort of 3 points there to get them over the line?
Yeah. But that's what Carolina's now gained that experience at least. So next year, if they go back in, they know what to expect and know what they're doing. It's not new because that's probably new to the majority of that team, to be perfectly honest. So having that there is got to be experience going forward. If they can maintain it and build on it next year, they'll go into it not feeling like we're rabbit in headlights. Not that we aren't rabbit in headlights, but the nuances of being in the playoffs and what's happening, the build-up round it's all different than a normal regular game, I would say.
Probably a bit of confidence as well in it, really. It's just kind of think, okay, we're familiar, we know what we're doing, and I guess the coaching staff as well. So we'll see what comes of them. Again, the Rams side, obviously, they go marching into the divisional round. And is there any concerns? I would say over the last sort of 6 weeks, the Rams have kind of had a wobble for a period there, right in the kind of post sort of Thanksgiving, era. Everybody's calling them the best team in the league, Super Bowl favourites, they're got to be there. And then it just seemed to hit this patch, and it coincided with obviously losing to the Panthers. They lost another couple of games in there. Just things weren't quite going well. Stafford was essentially dragging them along. Should they be concerned kind of going forward over these next few games? If they want to go the whole way, they just need to get this sort of sloppiness out their game.
They definitely do, because I don't think, Chicago, again, we'll talk about that later, that's going to be a hard place to go in the next game. And then if you go through that, you're more than likely going to be probably the Seahawks. Not taking away the 49ers, but the amount of injuries they've got is ridiculous to key players and key positions. So, no, I do think they should be concerned, because if they put up if you put a performance like that against Chicago, the way they're playing now, I don't see them. They'll be a lot more ruthless with them, I would say. Stafford,
I didn't think it was his best game by a mile. I thought he looked pretty awful, to be honest, at times in this game. There's a couple of passes there intercepted or should have been intercepted. But he just seemed to this clutch gene come deep in the fourth quarter when his team needed him just to make that play. He goes marching down, almost perfect drive from him. It looks like he's going to be MVP, and okay, it makes me sick to say it, but probably deservedly so. Even if we'll try and take our Patriots tinted glasses off there, mate. But you obviously get banged up a wee bit in this as well. There was a bit of talk in the commentary about his hand, I think, a bit of doing. Definitely interested to see how they could do going forward. I think they're still going to be one of the favourites, but I think they've just got to tighten things up there. Just a wee bit too sloppy across the board.
Yeah, no, they definitely do, and it'll be interesting to see about his hand, but it'll be interesting to see how he progresses, because they'll need him to throw and need him to be good if they want to get by the next couple of games to get to the big dance.
Yeah, but again, it was just this set the tone, really, didn't it, for the next few games. Again, it was just constant league changes, fourth quarter, absolute drama, last seconds going. And that leads us in, as I say, nicely into the next game, which was the Green Bay Packers, again, at the Chicago Bears. This one finished 27-31 to the Bears. This was a bit wild, wasn't it? This was Chicago's first playoff victory in 15 years. It was a massive fourth quarter surge by rookie Caleb Williams. He's, 25 points scored in the fourth quarter. Just absolutely unreal from them. Again, generally speaking, what did you think of the game? Just excitement, just...
Up to the fourth quarter, I thought the Bears shat the bed, to be perfectly honest with you. I was like, they've blew it, they've choked against Green Bay, who I didn't think were... They've got good pieces, but I don't think they're a great team. But as a game, it's an advertisement for the NFL. You just need to show that, and it will get people you think they're down and out, down so much, and then the last quarter goes boom.
Yeah, and I guess we'll come to that then. The Bears. That's been their season. It seems to be what they've done continually. There we go. I managed to say it all year round, where they seem to be dead and buried out the game, and then up steps Caleb doing a bit of magic somewhere in that fourth quarter and pulls it out. And he did one of the absolute plays of the weekend for me, where he just rolls to his left and lobs the ball down to Big Loveland, the tight end. It was a thing of absolute beauty. Yeah. And that's two superstars there in the making. I think Brady was calling him Mini Gronk. And you kind of look at this Bears team and go, wait a minute. Again, they've got that winning mentality. They've got that clutch sort of gene in there. There's they've got an absolute psychopath in Ben Johnson, a head coach, a genius but nuts.
Right.
What do you think? Where's their ceiling?
Their ceiling, you say they're never out, so surely there must be a chance to get to the Super Bowl. It's going to be hard to get there. Again, they're playing the Rams, and then you're playing the 49ers or the thing, mate. It's going to be difficult to get there, but you can see them getting there. I can see them going all the way. You've hit on it. They've got a young quarterback who's proven this year why he was number one, but also you've got even the other wide receivers, is it Anunze and all, etc. You've got a good group of young guys as well. They'll all grow together. So to me, this team, if we don't get there this year, I think they'll be back knocking against next year, because they must be favourites. The Vikings are not quite sure they've got a quarterback in that. So in that division, they must be sitting pretty tidy.
Yeah. My big worry with them is, though, that can you really afford any more games when you're going to end up 21-3 down at the half? You can't expect to score 25 points, or what? It was 25 points in the final quarter of a game to get you through. Not every team has got to be Green Bay and they're going to completely collapse the way that they did. That's my worry with them, that they need to. If Caleb could play the way he does in the last 10 minutes for the entire 60 minutes, he could be an absolute superstar, far more than he is promised. And that's my problem with them now, is just they've got that. They just too sloppy at times, and then they rely on hero ball too much to drag them over the line. Now that play we were talking about, the one to Loveland, that was a 4th and 6 or sort of 4th and 6 or something like that to really drag them across. You don't want to be in that position to win the game. You don't want to be in a position of you're trying to convert these, let's say hero ball style back garden quarterback 4th and 6s to get you through. Yeah, it's great. You've got that ability up your sleeve, but as I say, it seems to be week on week on week they're having to rely on.
There's only so many times you can do it, surely.
That's my.
NFL ones, because they'll sell tickets. That sells the brand perfectly well. Games like that.
Well, this game though, that Marty Scorsese meme, pure cinema or absolute cinema. That's what this was. It was absolutely brilliant to watch, and such good fun. And these wildcard games have been some for the neutral. Every day. Well, maybe not them all. We'll get to the Pats game later, but they've been so entertaining. They're exactly why we love the NFL, because it's drama right up to those final settings. You can't count any team out, because it takes one play, it takes one busted coverage, one sack, one interception, and that's exactly what we're getting in this game here. And what I'm absolutely loving about the playoffs this year, though, is it feels like it's a real change in the guard. I'd say, Chicago Bears, okay, they never quite got the 4,000-yard receiver, but it was close enough. Quarterback, passer. There we go. Right, I'm still a bit sleep deprived from the other night, but it's looking at the young quarterbacks that are coming through, and it's not just a few years ago we were talking about like the Mahomes and the Allens and the Burrows, but now we've got this second wave coming through. The Calebs and the Drake Mays and the Bo Nix and I was going to say Trevor Lawrence there, but behave yourselves. Or CJ Stroud, I put him in the same bracket as well. Bryce Young. It's great to see these come through. It's that kind of more. I'm kind of tired of seeing the Aaron Rodgers of the world. And to a degree, Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford does play like he is. He's got a great arm, great pocket passer, but it helps when you're thrown to future Hall of Famer Devontae Adams, future Hall of Famer Puka Nacua. You've kind of got those sort of caliber there. So, and that's great. But when you're seeing guys coming through like your Caleb's and thrown to Roma Dunsies and Cortland Sutton, Loveland, that's what just kind of fills me with kind of great excitement about what the future actually has in store for this game. And I think the Bears just epitomised that. Excitement. Obviously Grant, our good pal, massive Bears fan. I know he's absolutely thrilled with the way this season's going. It's always that this year's going to be my year. Well, this year could be your year, mate. That's the way this is going. Any other thoughts in this game? Oh, well, of course we'll get thoughts, because we need to get into Green Bay. Like, what the fuck happened there? 21-6 up, like we were talking about. Our 21-3 at half time, cruising. Yeah. Jordan Love's out there slinging it. Matthew Golden looks an absolute superstar. You've got mad Romeo Dobbs running about with his mad big helmet on. He looks like the wee baby Mario, doesn't he? So with the big hat on. That kind of reminds me out there. Then what happened? What actually happened in this game? It's like they just decided, you know what? Defense isn't really for us anymore.
But then there's not even that. Their offense stopped as well. You go like that. You say, would you say it was 21? I think 21-3. They got into the fourth. How can you not put and you score 2 field goals?
Yeah.
I don't. That to me is the biggest. You can say that Green Bay, Chicago done well to come back into it, but Green Bay offense, their defense went missing, but so did their offense. It must be quick turnarounds, because you've allowed 25 points scored against you. You're not holding on to the ball very long at all. So I think overall shit show of a fourth quarter, but I don't see why. It'll be interesting to see if LaFleur keeps his job, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, it wasn't 2 field goals. I'm pretty sure. I thought it was a touchdown they scored, and then they missed the extra point. Because that summed up. I'm sure Matt Prater missed a field goal as well in this one. Is it Prater? No, Crosby. God, my head's up my hole, man. It is big time. I'm well sleep deprived. But I think he missed 2 field goals in here, missed an extra point. Again, it's these slight things if they just go the other way, but it just seemed to be that sums up the Packers, where they just sort of fell apart. I was just looking at what their kind of drives were in the third quarter. Was it punt, 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 touchdown? I'm sure with the missed extra point.
Or was it?
No, they went for 2. I'm talking. No, sorry, I'm just seeing here. Missed field goal, end of game. So, it's you kind of look at it and go, what the hell happened when they started touchdown, 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 missed field goal to end the half. It's just some difference, what's sort of going on there. But just sloppy.
If you've seen plenty of games like it, whereas a team does brilliant, something happens at the half, and then whatever happens, it's got a completely different script in that second half. But it was to see something fall apart like that was not so bad. It's just not embarrassing. It is embarrassing if you were them, but it's just
McManus. It was McManus is the kicker.
That a guy for Denver used to be at Denver.
Aye. Yes. So anyway, yeah, I'm just sort of flicking through this and I was going just as a better reminder. But a lot of talk today is about them wanting to sack Matt LaFleur, or fans are wanting him sacked. What do you think?
Will you get anybody better?
No.
So
to be honest,
maybe if he's up for a contract renewal, it might be a good way not giving him top dollar.
Unless would you be interested to see somebody like Mike McDaniels or something like that there, or a Stefanski, with a great receiving core, very good quarterback. Add in Micah Parsons in the defence. A lot of good pieces. You never know.
Definitely a good team, but it's whether they take a risk. And it's not a risk. I think McDaniels is a good head coach, but it just needs to learn how to pivot if his way isn't working sometimes. That's the problem. We're used to that at this moment in time, a bit of our sport.
Right, we'll move on to the next one because that was a fun game. And then, you know what? We were like, no way it can continue. But guess what? It continued. Buffalo Bills at the Jacksonville Jags. Buffalo 27, Jacksonville 24. This was mental. This game just flip-flopped all over the place. I actually lost count of how many times the lead changed. It was brilliant. Obviously, it ended with Trevor Lawrence was tipped pass and intercepted by, I think it was Davies White, I want to say. And that leads to Buffalo's first road win in the playoffs in 33 years. Almost as long or as old as you, my man. Almost.
Not quite.
The Jags. Now, I remember being on this podcast, I don't know, week 7 or 8 or something. I can't remember what it is. And me saying to the guys, like, what are they? Are they a fraud or are they the real deal? And we were pretty much unanimous. A complete fraud of a team. I think they'd beaten Kansas earlier on, and we went, yeah, fair enough. And then they went and get pumped half of somebody they shouldn't have, and we're like, frauds. It's just typical Trevor Lawrence, he's not got it. And then something's clicked with this team. Now, what do you think? Real deal?
They've not won well, to me, that was a perfect chance to go and win your first playoff game. And Buffalo couldn't have been in more for the taking, in my opinion. They've not had the best of seasons. They're still missing something there. But no, I'm still on the fence with them, to be perfectly honest. I'm still not ready to call them the real deal yet. They have
really?
got better. I can't deny that. Aye.
See, I'm thinking, I'm looking at the pieces and going like, that is a nasty, nasty physical team. Like, they beat the ever loving shit out of Josh Allen. They went for him in ways that, they've probably killed lesser people. You get thrown about like an empty trachea. But and that's just their defence. When you then look at Trevor Lawrence, and they've got Liam Cohen there, to guide him and help him. We saw what he done with Baker. The receiving core just looks unreal. They've got Parker Washington, looked phenomenal. Was it 7 receptions for 107 yards in this one? Brian Thomas Jr., we know he's good. He just obviously lost his way a bit. Jacoby Myers has been an absolute solid pickup. Brilliant receiver.
Brilliant for them, yeah.
And that's not including the guy they just gave up how many first round picks to go and get. The unicorn, Travis Hunter.
Right.
It's just like they're absolute stout. So they've got a lot of talent there. Big Brenton Strange, the tight end as well. Tim Patrick's in there. They've got Travis Etienne at running back. The boy Tootin as well. I just look at this and go, look, they've got a lot of pieces here. They've got Josh Allen Hines one side, they've got Walker the other side in defence. I think they're the real deal. I think they've finally got a head coach who can actually put all these pieces together. And they've got the young lad as well as their general manager. I forget his name now, but I don't know. I think he's just finally got pubes or something like that. I think he's just out of high school. But fair play him. Like, he's assembled a very good squad. They've got a very good head coach in there. I think, again, like we're talking about Panthers, like, surely you've got to be like chuffed with the way this season has went.
The way it ended, I think you would be, but until you've just remembered off all their players and all of that thing, but to me, you still need to go and prove it in the off season.
Do you think Trevor Lawrence? What's the next steps for him? Like, do you think he essentially? What I'm asking is, what's his ceiling? Like, do you think in like 12 months' time we can be sitting here saying, "Yeah, I think Trevor Lawrence MVP"? Do you think he's that good, or is that a pipe dream?
It should be that good for all the weapons he's got and the hype he had, and he shows it in flashes. It's just you're not getting to see it consistently from him. That's the problem.
Look, don't be a shitebag. Answer the question I told you. Do you think he will be? It's a yes or no question here.
Honest answer is no.
Shitebag. I'll say yes, right?
I didn't agree with you.
We'll put a 50p wager on it, right? Next year. I'll be like,
go for a full pint.
Pint deal. But yeah, as I say, I've got a lot. To be honest, I had Jacksonville winning this game. I thought, being at home, I thought they had all the pieces. They've really put together a really good team there, as I say. Really love their defence and what they do. But if one man could beat them, one man could nullify everything that's good they're saying. It's Josh Allen. As much as I hate to say it, what a player. This was an MVP level performance from him.
It's putting the team in your back and going for it. That's what he always does. That's why they're as good as what they are. It's all due to him. And I still can't believe in the first couple of years of his career, you were like, is he boom or bust? I think we can safely say he's boom.
Shows that a bit of patience. Can happen. As I said, he get the ever-loving shit beat at him. They went to town on him. He was getting rolled up in his knees. He was getting landed in his head. He was even parting his hand off his own lineman's helmets and things like that. Oh, kinky. But he still just kept going. He's just inevitable, it seems. What do you think of Allen and their chances to go the distance? I hate bringing them up, but I guess we'll go to them when we're talking about no Lamar, no Mahomes, no Burrow. Has he got to get a better chance?
No. Effectively, you're playing a rookie in his first playoff game. Did they go there last year? No. You're playing against Bo Nix. You're playing against him in the playoffs.
I did in the playoffs last year. Yeah.
Aye, so you're playing against him. He's still a fairly young quarter. They've got good pieces, but you've not got a better chance you're not got a better chance to go through and get to the Super Bowl than this. They've came short so many times, mostly because of Kansas City. Then if not, you had your Ravens, you had the Beagles. So there's no better time for them to go for it and get it.
I guess when you look at what he is now the old head in this league,
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, not the league, but in the playoffs that's left. When you look at Drake May, Bo Nix, and CJ Stroud, he is the one. It's his time to shine. I kind of you look at their team though, and you think, where's their weakness? And the glaring one for me is their wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
I like their tight ends. I think they're good. I think Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid, really good tight ends, really reliable. But after that, you're kind of looking at Khalil Shakir. Good, but he's a wide receiver too. does it tell you something about this wide receiver core when the best receiver is Brandon Cooks, who they picked up a couple of weeks ago off the waiver wire? But with that, do you think that's a good addition? And is it something that can actually just spur them on a bit? Could he be the missing piece?
It could be. He's definitely filling a gap, similar to what we said about what was his name? Boy, Jacksonville, ex-Patriot Myers, Jacoby. He came in here and they filled that space. So I think he's definitely come in because you don't see him a lot in the game, but he'll come up with some big plays during the game when you really need him to. He's a safe pair of hands. We've seen it firsthand himself with at Patriots, but he seems to have been all over the place, Cooks, to be honest with you. But I think he's a good wide receiver. There's no doubt in that. But again, he's not a number one anymore. Nowhere near it. No. So again, they've not got a dominant wide receiver, and I think it just shows you how good Josh Allen is because he's taken that team along without having someone like a dominant wide receiver like your AJ Browns or your. I think I'm just as tired as you, mate. Or all the two number ones in the league.
Sorry, I've got a cough here. I'll be mute myself every time I can. If one slips out, apologies. I guess for me, Brandon Cooks is, he's that deep threat. He helps just to kind of just stretch defenses. In this game in particular, though, I don't know if that was the key to how most teams stop Buffalo, and it was what our Patriots team did early in the season, is you stop the run game. They held Cooks to like 46 yards. Allen, I think there were 79 total rushing yards in this game. Made it hard for them, make it tricky. But it's kind of, I don't know if it's spoke about a lot, because when you talk about the Bills, you are talking about Josh Allen all the time, but I really like their defense as well. I think when you've got guys like Greg Rousseau in there, and you've got Matt Milano and Shaq Thompson and these guys, there doesn't seem to be any superstars, but they're all just fight hard. They play hard. They've got good instincts. A lot of old heads in there as well. They've been here and done that. I think. Do you got to agree with me? Is that a strength of the team, or you just got to be a dick as well and disagree with me again?
No, they're a good. As I said, they're a good team. I haven't seen them playing them, and I see Milano's not playing. I'm delighted.
Aye, massive.
So. No, I do think they're a good team. They've proven it year on year. But it'll be interesting to see how it goes during next week.
Indeed, my man. So what was that? What'd you call me?
I told you worse.
Oh, you have. Potty mouth in you. Right, next game up, my man. We had the San Francisco 49ers. This was Sunday night as well, wasn't it? San Francisco 49ers at the Philadelphia Eagles. Finished 23-19 the way of the 49ers. This one was it was a Brock Purdy CMC connection, hardly surprising. Go-ahead touchdown, basically knocked off their own Super Bowl champs. I think, though, that everybody's got to always remember this game as what was it called? The Sky Bang reverse pass for sort of years to come. I'm sure that'll get in a bit of folklore for the 49ers fans. That was Jennings, just pitched the ball out, rolled it right to hit McCaffrey for an absolute beautiful over-the-shoulder catch, touchdown, and it seemed to just bump the 49ers, gave them a boost there. Overall, it was that particular play gave them the lead. That ended up about 17-16. Again, another absolute phenomenal game. More fourth quarter changes. Just sort of epic to see when this particular game, when you've got Kittle going down with injuries and you're wondering who the hell's coming off the stands, I think, to come and play with this 49ers team. You've got bloody AJ Brown and Sirianni going at it. It just seemed to have everything. It was just pure drama. And again, it was just fascinating to watch. What was your general thoughts on it, man?
Good game to watch. You say it was thrilling. It was down to the last minute, and I wasn't sure if San Francisco were going to be able to do it, but you say that pass was phenomenal. It was beautiful to see. I do love a good trick play. But that was brilliant to see because CMC was doing nothing on the ground. They could get nothing going through in the run game at all. So it was get your best player the ball any means possible. That'll do.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's not, I'd say, taking away from Chris McCaffrey. That's just, I think, kudos to that Vic Fangio defense. Is it still? Yeah. They're obviously elite. They are, a strong part of this team. But where does it go wrong? Well, what is it with the Eagles? They won the Super Bowl back in Super Bowl 52, and then the following year had an absolute stinker. No, it was no, sorry. It was when they made the Super Bowl a couple of years ago with Sirianni, and then he barely held on to his job the year after.
Yeah.
And then they win the Super Bowl the following year. It's just like, why is there so many peaks and troughs with this Eagles team? They're so hard to try and suss out. I've got my take on it, but I'd love to hear yours.
I personally think I'm not sure if he should still be in his job. That sounds harsh to say, but there's no consistency there. And I'm sorry, he shouldn't go and square up to the wide receiver at the same time at the side of the park either. That's just got to make it worse. The quarterback, if you're going to make him be a pocket passer, that's not his strength. You see very little running from him. Is that the OC? But at the end, is it Sirianni still not? Is he not called the plays in offense still, or they gave that to the OC?
Kevin Patullo on it, is it?
So, but again, you're not getting that many designed runs for Hurts, and that was one of the strengths of that team. The run game was non-existent this year. You went to
Barkley. Sorry,
Barkley was going gun hell for leather last year, and this year, if they're shoring up the shop to stop him so much, surely your AJ Brown, your Goddard, and your Smith should be able to pick him up if they're selling out to stop Barkley. But I don't know what it was. Something's wrong there.
So who do you sack then, right? You've got to sack. I don't know if this is one of the kind of like, what is it, dump, marry, shag sort of things, but you go, the head coach, the offensive coordinator, the quarterback, what one you marrying? What one's for the long term at the three?
I think you can get rid of your quarterback's got to cost you too much money, so you'll keep him.
No, let's remove the money side. I mean, just on talent, who do you think out of them is there
something? But those OC, I definitely think shouldn't be there.
And so that's why you're dumping.
Aye.
So you want to shag Nick Sirianni? Is that what you're saying?
No, definitely.
Get that in the headlines. Right? I'm cutting that bit for the socials. Perfect. But to be honest, there's a part of me that's like, there's a case to be said, get rid of them all three of them. Absolutely. No. My trouble with it is how much was last year's on? God, who was their head coach again? Kellen Moore, wasn't it? Before before he left. How much is down to the coordinators? How much is actually down to the head coach? And I know you can say that about a lot of sort of teams where it's. But it just seemed the highs and the lows, the ceilings to the kind of floors just seems so varied with this team, and or how much do you put on Howie's shoulders actually for the glory of it? Because look at that team; it's absolutely loaded. When you've got Barkley, Hurts, Goddard, Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, you've got bloody hell, Tank Bigsby's in there making plays. That's not even counting the defence where you've got bloody Carter and DeJean and Bond, and it's just loaded with talent. And it's it's like the general manager's done his part, surely.
If both sides of the ball are bad, you can only really, to me, you're blaming one man, Sirianni. He sets the culture. He sets how all that thing goes. And from what you see of him it might be completely different in real life, but for what you see him the sideline, it doesn't give me someday the person that's got a nice, cohesive, constant thing about him. He just looks too volatile on the sideline.
You can't even get any fighting with your players, can you? You just surely like AJ Brown's obviously been an issue all year and probably the offs last year as well. They're obviously banging heads. He's not happy with the amount of targets he's getting. Fair enough. You don't want to see it. You can say that about a lot of receivers that are out there for the team. But when you've got talent like that and you're not getting it to them, like why?
I can say that, but he got 2 good targets and 2 big drops this game as well, to be honest with you.
He did. Apparently, it's like he checked it. It was this his final.
It's his last game for them.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with the Eagles. You've always got faith in that they're going to do something special in the off season. They're going to make big moves, splashes. They're going to draft well. We'll just need to wait and see what happens with them. I don't see the OC lasting very long. When folk are doing a driving range, batting golf balls off pictures of them, I think that's. And they've egged his house, didn't they? Halloween. Was it Halloween? Egged his house. Like, man, he should move to the other side of the country. Maybe LA is a nice place for him. I think he should go to Philadelphia sooner rather than later. But we'll see what happens there. Or at the 49ers, man. What can you say about this team? And for me, it's just Kyle Shanahan's an absolute genius.
Yes.
Again, Pats fans, we're going to say Vrabel Coach of the Year. But the reality is, it isn't it? It's Kyle Shanahan is, once again, a mastermind Coach of the Year. With things together on double-sided tape.
MacGyver couldn't do it any better.
Oh, man, the A-team couldn't either. Stuck in a cave. With a bag of shrapnel. They couldn't put together a better weapon than Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers are. We mentioned earlier, Kittle that's massive blow to them. And you're like, well, who else you got to fall on? When the run game's not going well, when they're held to 75 yards rushing, he just finds a way. He just knows what he's doing. And then added with Kyle Shanahan's offensive genius, Robert Saleh there as your defensive coordinator. Again, very, very, very good coach. Yeah. I could say I love what the 49ers do. I just don't know how much longer they can do it for.
I think I just don't see, it's just got to be really hard for them to keep on doing it. Kittle's missing is massive. He is their number one target, him and CMC. If they can run the ball, potentially they can keep it going. But the further you go, you're going to be going against good defenses, good offenses. Can they really keep on pulling that together? Because the people are doing it with, they're basically winning games with a hand time behind their back now. Let's face it.
It is when but they just seem to do it. When he's winning however many games it was with Mac Jones. But, this one year you've got DeMarcus Robinson for 111 yards. Aye, okay, fair enough. But then you're relying on Kyle Juszczyk and CMC and Joanne Jennings. Some of these guys are, wide receiver 3 and 4 or something like that in some other teams, but they're knocking off the reigning Super Bowl champions. To me, it's just, I guess, write them off at your peril.
Aye, it'll be a brave call to write them off, but how far could they keep going? That is the question.
Well, that's sort of my next point is how far they go. Do you put the weight of expectation on the shoulders of Brock Purdy? Are they only going to go as far as he can take them? Because again, he just seems to be up and down. I think he was 18 or 31 in this game. He had 2 interceptions.
I think it's hard.
Is he exactly though that Kyle Shanahan wants? He's that perfect. He's not the hero ball back guarding quarterback we're talking about earlier, like Caleb sort of thing. Yeah. Where actually he's in there, does exactly what he wants. His timing's there, his mechanics are there. He just get the ball to the people you're told to get it to when they want it.
I don't want to say game manager, but it's effectively something similar to that. It is just managing. He knows how to manage a game, get the ball where he's done, and he's very good at doing it. I don't want to do him a disservice by saying that. He's still a good quarterback, but it would be interesting to. I think it's a big test in Saturday night. That's for sure.
Yeah,
massive test.
It was another absolute brilliant game. So far, we're coming up to Sunday night football. Essentially, we were 3 for. Jesus, is that only 3 games we've got through so far? That's 4. God, told you. We were 4 for 4 in games. We had the LA Chargers come up to Foxborough, Massachusetts to take on the New England Patriots. It was obviously going to turn into another masterclass when it's good.
Easy.
Not quite for us. This is the one that everybody's probably been waiting on. I'm pretty sure this is why nobody else in the crew would probably come on. Like I described it earlier as coming for a Mike Vrabel loving cuck session. They can just sit and watch us. But kind of in all seriousness, though, it was a bit of a slog. This game, we had Drake May through touchdown to the former Charger Hunter Henry, kind of sealed the deal. But I guess the big story of this was just the pass defence. And again, just kicked over a little loving shout out Justin Herbert all night, who just could not get going. Ended up 16-3. I don't know about how you felt, mate. Is from a Pats fan, I was never overly worried in the game.
I didn't see them. The way their defense was playing was lights out. It was legit crazy. And I think I was listening to I was watching and listening to something today, and it was basically we almost went man for man and just said, like, our cornerbacks are going to take your wide receivers. We're just going to come get you.
Yeah.
Very little. No, just basically we trust you guys. We're coming to get you. And that's probably the first time this year I've seen us being so aggressive, to be honest with you.
But before we all get, like, I don't know, I was going to say teary-eyed over the Patriots, which we will, I'm sure. Chargers for then. Is this essentially like a lost year? They were playing with house money given the injuries, considering their tackles were out and they were into their 30-odd combination of linemen or whatever the hell it was at, and it was just utterly ridiculous where they were playing. They were down to third and fourth stringers, and some of these was, it was just they're just like guys off the street, really. Is there any really takeaway from the Chargers that we can say that they've got to really work on, or do you think they'll look at this and go, actually, we've got the pieces here, we get fit, we get healthy, we go again next year?
I think they've got a good defense. Their defense played really well this game as well. It was they kept Drake May down to very little as well. So their defense played well. I wouldn't say the defense was horrible, but it's you say what they're missing, their tackles and all the stuff in the offense was something really big. I don't think you can blame Herbert or blame the coach or that for anything for that. I think it's just, you say you've got the injuries, you can't really hold that against them, can you really?
Yeah. Apparently I was watching it and it was like Herbert. I remember, it's one of the preseason pods we did, and I remember sort of saying about Herbert is that I want to see him just take a game or a season by the scruff of the neck and just drag this team along. Yeah. And apparently I was sort of wondering, like, if you replace Herbert with, say, Josh Allen, would you have get the same result, or does Herbert just miss? Is he just lacking still that killer instinct to go out there and no? He put it all, as I say, he get battered up and down. But we saw Jacksonville did the exact same thing to Josh Allen, and look what Allen was doing in the fourth quarter of that game. I'd been slightly different, obviously, given the offensive lines and where they are. The other, I think, weakness for me in this game was I don't really put too much faith other than Lad McConkey in any sort of wide receivers or the receiving core.
You're relying on Keenan Allen still being basically one of your number one receivers. That's a bad sign for where he's at this stage in his career now. Still a good wide receiver, but he shouldn't be who you're relying on week in, week out.
Yeah,
surely.
As I say, to me, I try not to dwell too much on it. Just given the, if I was a Chargers fan, I'd look and go, we were on hiding to nothing. We did well, I think, to get where we got to, but you were even if the cards just fell that way and they were able to kind of knock us off, they weren't going to go any further. They reached their ceiling pretty early doors, and like Keith, has our good Lord and Saviour, has asked in on the old X Twitter fear, was the Pats deed that good, Scud, or was the Chargers rolling terrible?
It can be both true. Well, your defense.
Your
what?
Is that your answer? Final answer? Come on, after
no, I think it's the Patriots defense. The line doesn't help thing me up the field. Try to cut. Gonzalez played lights out. He was actually running the route with the receivers.
Yeah.
The guy's amazing, and we've got another couple of Davis. It's good, very physical, opposite of Gonzalez a bit, but he's very physical. But no, I think they played really well.
Yeah, I'm kind of agreeing
And
with
you
you.
take away from the Patriots by saying it was because of that, because it wasn't.
I think it's a bit of both. I think always when we've got Gonzo in the game, we've got a good secondary there. None of the receivers, and we're just mentioning, okay, the receivers are relatively poor. They weren't getting separation. Herbert's highs downfield, holding up with the ball too long, substandard O-line. We don't have a great edge rush, but we do have a great interior pressure.
Right.
And we were able to get through that line, absolutely no bother. Between Barmore there, Milton Williams, we had corner blitzes from Marcus Jones in there. They were just throwing absolutely everything at them. And a lot of the people are saying they looked at the footage and went, they had absolutely no idea what coverage the Pats were playing. They completely scrambled the offensive kind of system and Justin Herbert there. And
the Charger player actually said to one of our defense, "We had no idea what you were doing."
Yeah, and we've seen that before. That was basically similar to, it was Belichick, but it was in that monumental Super Bowl 53 against the Rams. And that's what this reminds me of. If you like defensive, football, this was, a masterpiece in it. It really was. It was on top. There was interceptions, there were forced fumbles left, right, and centre. It wasn't a great game for the neutrals out there, let's face it. But, we got the job done. From a Pats point of view, I thought, I guess the question, one of the first one I say, does this make the Pats legit? Or was this another strength of schedule win where it was a nothing team? Did the Pats finally get a pat in the back?
They should, because you still have to go there and beat a really good defense. No matter what you say that they're anyway. What? Aye, so they're not. It's not like they're playing chumps. They're a really good defense, and we had to go out there and do what we need to do to beat them. Yeah, you can say they didn't score, but that was our good defense against a weak old line. But no, I think they definitely should get the pat in the back for it.
Yeah, we looked jittery, I thought, to start with. I think Drake looked a bit wee, obviously that tipped pass.
From him in the second half.
Aye. But early on, even though we were seeing like drops for like even Stephon Diggs and Pop Douglas, which very rarely happens. They're obviously usually Mr. sort of reliable there. Drake, though, just seemed to settle down, just took this and put the game in his back. And I think he finished with 330 total yards, 66 yards rushing, 268 yards passing. Made that play, the touchdown said, which was an absolute thing of beauty. Absolutely loved it. That was just feel, touch, precision, absolute everything right into the hands of Hunter Henry. Need to give massive kudos to my main man, Travion Henderson, for what a tackle he put in as well.
That was amazing.
Absolutely beautiful. So great play. Rusty from the Pats. I think we need to get a bit better. There's a few things there. I was having quite a few conversations with our pals over there in Boston who were at the game. They were saying it was a pretty cold and windy night. Not always the perfect conditions for playing football. But I think I kind of look at the Pats going forward, and when everything clicks and everybody's healthy, what a difference it was to having Spillane back and Landry back and Booty back in the team. Once we've got all these pieces there, we're a strong team.
Even the rookies like Woodson and that, I think they had a brilliant game. He played. Yeah. I think he was close to lights out as he could be. He played brilliant. So all of that, even the rookies in defense were stepping up and doing things. So that's what I'm saying. I think it was a really good performance. Even the special teams, pinning them in, doing everything well. I don't think it was a bad special defense and offense. Apart from the first half, I think the full every sort of phase played really well for us. But that was a good overall team performance.
I think we just come up against a really good defense, particularly in the red zone. We moved the ball well, quite a few drives that were going into the red zone, and then one way or another, we were either taking a field goal. Again, Andy Borregales went 3 for 3 on. Yeah, I say it's
Remember calling for him to get the fuck at the start of the season?
never. I always had faith in him, and I won't have anything to say that otherwise. But again, just loving Ramondre Stevenson, Trayvon Henderson. I think there's a lot of really good pieces there. I just need to briefly touch on the trick play. They tried that sort of pass play for Efton Chisholm. What a shit throw that was, man. I could have done better than that.
But stopped halfway through his route.
Oh, stop by. You underthrow him. You can go for it. He absolutely sailed that one a mile over. I stick to being a wide receiver, Efton. Right, man, we'll move on because otherwise we will get complaints about being a bunch of Patriots homers, which we are, and we're not making any apologies for it. But we will move on because finalising it last night, we had the Houston Texans at the Pittsburgh Steelers. This one finished 30 to the Texans, 6 to the Steelers. It was a bit of a smash in the end. This game was absolutely mental. It kind of really the tone was set just into the fourth quarter. Sheldon Rankins returned that fumble for Aaron Rodgers. I think it was like 33 yards early in the fourth quarter. That kind of opened the floodgates a bit because this game, I didn't watch it. I caught the highlights earlier today. And when I saw the score, I was expecting an absolute tanking from start to finish. But then when you actually started to watch the game, it was 7-6 at the half. In fact, it was still 7-6 in the fourth quarter. It was actually a lot closer than I thought it would be. And that wasn't quite the way I thought this game would go. So, again, I'm kind of just looking at my notes here, man. The first thing I actually was going to ask you is this the end for Mike Tomlin? Yes. Yes, it was. Yes. So we can answer that one quite definitively. Because, the take of it was, it's another winning season. Yeah, great. He's probably got the record for that, hang the banner. But it's another, embarrassing playoff loss. Is it like 7th in a row or something like that? They're pretty poor. Just, I guess, where does this leave the Steelers? We touched on it a wee bit earlier, obviously, but when you've got Aaron Rodgers, who just looked an old guy out there, still got a bit of arm talent, he can still throw the ball, but it just, I was kind of lamenting about earlier, when you're looking at, as I see all these young quarterbacks come through and they're dynamic and feel it, is it just time for Aaron, off you go to pasture, my man? You've served your time, you've made headlines for right and wrong reasons, but now is time to go and hang it up. Me personally, I think I've seen enough of him. I don't really want to see him back out there playing next year.
I've seen and read enough about him, so I am definitely in the same boat as you. I don't think we'll see him next year. I think he was sort of hinted at the start of the season, but I think it leaves Pittsburgh looking for a new head coach and a new quarterback at the same time.
It seems like it's got to be a bit rip it all up and start it again there.
After you just get Metcalf, so to me, do you try and punt him?
Didn't they want him?
Interesting to see him.
It doesn't look a great trade then. Okay, Seahawks, yeah, they don't like they've skipped a beat with them. Cowboys with Pickens looks far better. I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to dwell too long in Pittsburgh because essentially, who knows now? Given the fact of the massive question marks over what are they actually going to be next year. This game was just pretty much who they've been all year. They've kind of hung a bit enough. They kind of do enough to win some games. They've got a good defense there. It's capable. But
their offense, and not scoring a point from it was ridiculous.
Yeah. Again, with it being the Patriots homer, back to obviously our week 3 loss to them, I think it was, where we battered them basically, but we fumbled it in the goal line. We had an interception in the goal line.
The 5 turnovers we gave them or something. It was ridiculous.
It was something stupid like that. But we still hung about in that game. It was still there. When you give a team 5 or 6 turnovers, I think including the downs at the end, you should be getting pelted. You should be out in your arse already. But they don't capitalise in these situations. They don't capitalise in the extra possessions. They kind of do enough defensively to keep themselves in the games. They win some of them. But even last week against the Ravens, they should have lost that game. They should have. But Anyway, it is what it is. I think we've got to turn our attention now to the Texans and what they've done and where they've come from this year in particular. You know, as a Patriots fan, I'm looking and going, oh shit, that defence gives me the absolute fear. Daniel Hunter. Well, yeah, I think Daniel Hunter and Will Anderson are just probably the scariest combination out there. Add in with that, like I'm talking about, like Sharon Rankins and stuff like that. Just what a defence that is.
Oh, it's unbelievable. I'm not looking forward to seeing it. But I think that they're the reason they literally destroyed the Steelers in this game, absolutely pummeled them. They said they were giving the ball away, but I was blaming Pittsburgh, but it was kudos to their defense because they gave Pittsburgh nothing. Rodgers did no mobility. He had to sit in the pocket and take it. Usually, dynamic quarterback, you're hoping you have a good quarterback, you can roll out, get some yards and pick up something, but they had nothing like that. That was their biggest problem, in my opinion.
No, I think the key to this one or with them is you've got to get the ball out quickly. You just can't afford to try and keep it in their hands because any more than a few seconds and somebody is getting through. And that should the fact that, I don't know, I'll let me try and only the 5 fumbles by CJ Stroud, losing 2 of them, combined with an interception from him. And again, let's try and put the kudos to fair play to the Steelers for their efforts. But how much a worry should that be to Texans fans out there, the way that they essentially played for 3 quarters of this game offensively? Can you rely? Again, it's one of these things is like you get in the divisional round, do you get punished for that?
I would hope so.
Take the tinted glasses off.
No, but against a better team that can move the ball, you are going to get punished. You're not going to just begin in at the half 7-6, again into the fourth quarter 7-6. You'll get punished a lot more if somebody can move the ball against you, because they're a great defense, but you've got you've still got to get points against them. People have put points against them all year, so if you played better, you'd have a better chance in that. Because it's almost when they got that, as you said, that fumble for recovery, it's almost at that point if the Steelers just gave up.
Yeah. So usually when I'm looking at the Texans, first thing that comes to mind when I'm thinking about weaknesses, I'm thinking their offensive line isn't usually that great and their running backs aren't up to much. And then you kind of watch this game and go, the fuck's Woody Marks and where the hell he came from? Because I was rewatching the last time the Patriots played the Texans in the playoffs. It was the Dion Lewis match. I think he scored like 3 touchdowns in it. I don't know if you remember him. We number 33, I don't know, about 5'6", but just scampered a bit everywhere. And it just gave me flashbacks to Woody Marks. You know, he just looked so small in stature compared to these animals that are out there. But he still put up like 112 yards and 19 carries, got his touchdown, and he looked quite dynamic out there. He also had, you know, Nick Chubb out there pulling off some late runs like, you know, Nick Chubb of old. And I'm like, wait a minute, is this actually, have they turned a corner here actually? Do they actually have a run game? Because again, for me, it was always a weakness of them. I'm looking at, you know, Christian Kirk and Jaden Higgins and Nico Collins and like, okay, they've got some good receivers there. Dalton Schultz, good tight end. But the run game's not that great. And then all of a sudden you're kind of seeing that against, which is a pretty good Pittsburgh defense. Yeah,
no, 100%. I was surprised with the run game myself. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm just surprised with the Texans, to be perfectly honest. I thought it wasn't until later in the season I realised where they were sitting. I was like, they flew under the radar to me the full season, to be perfectly honest. I knew Stroud's a good quarterback, good young quarterback, but he'll need to tidy things up. But as you said, the O-line is proven that you can get to him. So if we can get to him if you can get to him, you're going to shut down a lot of plays. But like all good quarterbacks, if you give them time and eventually they can maybe come out and show their worth.
Yeah, I don't know. Dark horse for the Super Bowl?
No.
Do you think we hammer them? Is that what you're going to win this one?
I can't. No, I don't.
They hide it. Fuck it.
No, I don't think it's enough. if they could be a buy, us, I wouldn't think they'll get enough to get by the others. I still think they're just a wee bit too soon for them. They've got good pieces. You said their defense, but I think their offense still needs a wee bit of work, especially their line.
I was messaging my good lady's cousin, auntie's uncle. I was going to say auntie's husband. Jesus, what planet am I on the day, man? My head is well up. Anyway, sorry, let me get back to that. Yeah, our Uncle Damon, or the season ticket holder for the Texans, his take on it is, if our offense plays the way we did last night, we're going to be in trouble. And he basically says, if our offense does show up, then y'all are going to be in trouble. So, and I think most people would sort of agree with that, given how good that defense is. I think the big worry will be is Nico Collins. He went out with a concussion last night, and see how healthy he is. But I've got to say, I personally think, looking ahead to the games, I think, they'll probably not admit it, but I bet Bills and Broncos fans are secretly rooting for the Patriots come next week, because I don't think either of those teams would like to face the Texans defense, to be honest. And I think they'd rather fancy their chance against us, the Patriots, than the Texans. And that's probably the best compliment I can give them.
Aye.
So we'll see. If any Bills fans out there agree with me, or Broncos fans want to tell me to shut up, go for it. Feel free, message in, send in more comments. We always like to get the abuse. Mate, we have just battered through all 6 of those games there. I've got to say, general recap, what a weekend. It's what we love this game for. It's just brilliant, isn't it?
Aye, and it was entertainment. Every single game had something in it. It was absolutely brilliant to watch. And it was good to get just a chance to sit and watch all the full games rather than red zone and just catching snippets. It's good to see them all.
And, it's not done because it's not going to be long. We've got 2 games Saturday. Perfect for a couple of beers to be watching them. We've got Bills and Broncos Saturday night at 9:30. 49ers at Seahawks. That's at the 1 a.m. That's late Saturday night, early Sunday morning game. We've then got Texans at Patriots Sunday at 8 o'clock. And then Rams Bears, rounding all off, it's Sunday at 11:30 kicks off. There's another absolute brilliant set of games in there.
I don't see them. I think that every one of them will be a cracker. They're all something to watch them, but all 4. It'll be good to watch. And you can almost watch all of them. But I'm not doing an all-nighter to watch the Chicago Rams. I can't.
No, it was a late one. It was a late one for us. We were still texting at back at 4. I was up at like 6:45. My alarm went off. So as I say, it was a 2-hour nap sort of thing before I went in. I actually felt all right all day yesterday. I probably feel worse today. It's probably why I say my head's kind of gone a wee bit now, and I'm kind of rabbiting on absolute nonsense. But it's all worth it. Say this is the fun end of the season. Whether you're a neutral or one, it's your team's playing in these games. You watch it a different way. It's just always excitement. There's always talking points. Oh, so I just remembered another talking point I need to bring up. Oh, I know we're kind of running on. Sorry, Keith. Tony Romo, shoot that dick into the sun. I am fed up listening to him. How much nonsense was he spouting the other night? I don't know if you watched it. It was in the what game was it? Wasn't that Packers? No, it wasn't. No, it was the Bills Jacksonville game. Oh my God, that guy is awful.
He must feel lost without Mahomes in the playoffs.
Oh man, honestly, but it was just gibberish. Like, if you think I talk gibberish, I'll give me the 100 million or whatever they're paying for him. I'll go and do it. I'll do it for a lot less. I'll do it for 99. But my God, he's actually makes it unbearable to watch at times. He is so bad. He used to be brilliant, guessing plays, showing it, but now he's just like, oh, here we go, Jim. Oh, fuck off.
I'm not a fan of his commentary. I'll concur with you on that. He's not my. I generally, if he's won the game, I generally wouldn't listen to the commentary.
Oh man, I just had to get that in there. Go off my soapbox and just moan about him. I think everybody in our chat's tired of me going off on Tony Romo, but he is just like nails down a blackboard. To that way, just Oh, I can't stomach him.
Aye.
He's ruining my joy. So hopefully he's not doing any of the commentary in these games, but I'm sure he probably will. He'll be
He'll
there
have
anyway.
one of them for sure, that's for sure. As long as it's not the Patriots game, that's all I care about.
No, but these are going to be absolutely superb, I say, mate. And as I say, this is what we love. And you look at these, and I genuinely can't pick a team. You know, we've got, and the great news is, everybody, we have another pod coming up this week. We're going to do a preview of it. Keith's got to be back, leading a team of more professional people than us. You know, they let us, they let the two lunatics loose today to kind of do this one, so fair play. But they'll be back to in Friday night, I think it is, to do a divisional round preview. But is there a quick one here? I'm looking at these games, I'm like, Bills Broncos, don't know. Broncos, are they got to be hanging about again in the third quarter? You know, this one's got to go down to the last play, the last second.
Right.
Mile High Stadium, they've got to be a bit rusty coming off of that bye week. How banged up was Josh Allen after that game? It's so much to think about in there. The 49ers, Seahawks, again, the exact same sort of stuff there. How banged up are the 49ers? Is Darnold going to be seeing ghosts? Who knows? It's got to be amazing. Texans, Pats, we know that's an easy one for the Pats. We move on to Rams and Bears, and again, it's just, you know, MVP Stafford up against Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. It's just going to make us an absolute unreal weekend, and can't wait to watch it and get through it all. As I said, mate, our good folks in the crew are going to be back Friday night. We are, as I say, we've got loads of stuff going out in our social media stuff on, as I say, X and YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and all the other. We've got all these accounts that other better people than me run and put up really good content. I doubt there'll be very clipped to this show, but we'll see. Yeah, so come and join us. Hit the wee follow buttons, add in. We love the comments all coming through. I did get I need to say Penelope Howdy did come back with a follow-up. She said, but good luck with your team this year. I can't believe it's almost over. Football season went way too fast. Indeed, Penelope, indeed.
Always the case, but you always feel like this was week 1 was last week.
I know, and then I'm not willing to talk about that yet. I want to see a grown man in tears. So, but also socials, we've got our WhatsApp community thing, which is growing, which is great. So I'm sure Keith and the team will fire out another link to join that. So you can join that, and we just blether about the NFL on WhatsApp. So you're watching the games real time, put up polls, what we think. It's always a good laugh. There's always some good opinions. Loads of people joining it now, and that's really good. That's really picking up some traction. And last but not least, just to reiterate what I mentioned earlier on, the big news, Walkabout, Super Bowl Sunday from 9 p.m. The crew will be there. We're doing a quiz. I'll say Keith's got to be your quiz master. Don't know who it'll be. We'll find out. But we've got prizes. There's got to be the Super Bowl. There's got to be great food. Tables are starting to run out though, right? So it's got to be a packed house in there. It's got to be great fun. Can't wait. So please do join us. Get in touch with Walkabout. Make your booking through there. Big Scud loves it. His favourite pub to go and watch the NFL, and he's always a big advocate for it. Have I missed anything, Scud?
I think you've covered everything, buddy. You've done really well. Well done.
Yes, thank you. I can go and
go to legend there.
I think I need it, mate, to be honest. But thanks very much for joining us, man. An absolute pleasure. It was another fantastic weekend of the NFL action.
Definitely. Let's hope for another repeat this weekend, bud.
It's going to be awesome. I can guarantee it. Right, and thanks to everybody that's watching, contributed, sending in all your comments. Always good fun. Love reading them. Come join the crew. Thanks very much. Catch you all soon.
Bye.